Given all the volatility in this sector, not surprising we're seeing more regulation.
Yeah, exactly. And with this, it actually comes to the point with these two ETFs or notes, possibly something known as non-equity linked certificates. The question is what they actually are. I just said 3 titles, and that's because in the filings with the SEC for Bitcoin Tracker 1 and Ether Tracker 1, which are both now suspended, in different filings, they labeled them as different things. So basically, the SEC is saying, get your stuff in order and stop confusing investors. Let's go ahead and show just a little bit of what the SEC was saying here in that note, saying there is a lack of current, consistent and accurate information concerning those two, whatever they are, ETFs, ETNs, whatever, resulting in confusion amongst market participants. Now, the suspension is actually only going to go through September 20th. So that's what, maybe like 10 or 11 days here until hopefully those documents are updated. But really, this goes to the point of the confusion that still reigns out there, that the volatility, the uncertainty, this really doesn't help that. Let's go hop into the Bloomberg terminal. I want to show you, our viewers here, what's been happening with Ether specifically. Now, Ether has really taken the brunt of the falls here over the weekend, and you can see that here in the white that I've outlined in green on your GTB terminal. I mean, you mentioned just now the Ether co-founder saying over the past weekend that they really have seen the end of the growth, the end of the heyday here. And versus what's happening in the blue line, this is the MVIS Crypto Compared Digital Assets 10. This is basically the biggest, most liquid cryptocurrency funds out there. You can see while it's falling, Ether still definitely is taking the brunt of this. Not only that, let me just pile in a little bit more bad news while we're at it here. And in terms of the funding, in terms of the ICOs that are happening out there, the initial coin offerings, we're seeing it at its lowest ever since May of 2017, $326 million. Compare that to the first 3 months of this year, and they pulled in something on the order of about $3 billion on average per month, and $1 billion per month versus $326 million. You can see that there really is a lot of uncertainty, a lot of investors saying, you know what, we're not really sure what's happening. We're going to hold our money back, at least for now. And I guess I'll say ... into the future.
Yeah, and that ... Remy, could be a bit of positivity from Citigroup. We've got these reports that they're starting to maybe look into a new way to invest in the digital sector.
Yeah, that's right. I'm just going to hop very quickly into another Bloomberg terminal chart here. And, why don't we take this while we're talking about that? This is what you're looking at in terms of how the year to date Bitcoin and cryptocurrency peers have been sliding all the way down. And as we talk about this, I'll talk about this new thing that Citigroup has actually come out with. We're talking about ADRs. We know what those are, right, Heidi? American Depository Receipts. But I'm going to flip those letters up, and DARs is what we're talking about here with Citigroup. DARs, okay, what does that mean? That means digital asset receipts. And Citigroup is saying that this will theoretically let investors trade cryptocurrencies by proxy, meaning that it could insulate them from possible volatility here. With that said, we're talking also about what happened with these two securities that have been suspended by the SEC. We don't know what the SEC is going to be thinking when it comes to these to this Citigroup mechanism, these DARs here. But looking ahead, there definitely is still a little bit of hope with Citigroup, but looking at the general scheme of things, as you just saw in that Bloomberg terminal, I mean, Bitcoin is down by more than 50%, and Ether taking the brunt of it just at least this past weekend, down by 75%. So a little bit of hope, but let's just say a whole lot of fear still.